Happy New Year! Are you aware what season you're about to enter into? This is massively important. It's a biblical principle, goes all the way through the Bible. Seed time and harvest, they're never going to end. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, you can check it out. There's a time to sow, there's a time to reap, there's a time to mourn, there's a time to receive, time to give away. What season are you in? Because knowing your season, you'll know what to do in that season. You'll be able to have peace when you're not seeing all the fruit you want to if it's a winter season. You're going to be working hard if you know it's the summer season, it's the harvest season. And there are spiritual seasons too. Paul writing to Timothy, he says this. He says, preach the gospel in season and out of season. In other words, there's a time when people are just going to be so responsive to the gospel. It's like you can't help you're just sharing a little bit about Jesus. They're like, please, how do I get saved? It's going to be just like open season. And there's going to be other times it's not like that, but still preach the gospel. But what season are we in? Yesterday, Nicola and I were praying and she said, let's ask the Lord what season it is we're entering into. So I did. And as I asked the Lord, God, what season are we entering into? He said this to me, John, if you don't know your goal, it won't make much difference me telling you what season you're in. Have a think about that for a minute. If you don't know the goal of your life, what you're aiming for, it won't make much difference, that information of what season you're in. For example, like a farmer, if it's like harvest time, he knows he's got to work hard. But if it's winter, it's a time to rest, to conserve energy. It's a time to like prepare the tools, make sure he's got everything he needs for the season that's coming. It's preparation time for the season that's coming. An athlete, they might rest in the winter season, unless they're a footballer, or they might be like in training, like doing various like kind of like things to strength work or muscle work. But if you're in retail, winter time is your busiest season. It's the time of the Christmas shopping, and then it's the time of the sales, January sales. And so like winter's like your time of activity. So you got to know your goal in order to take advantage of the season that you're in. So I want you to think right now, what is the goal of the church? And if you're a Christian and you're part of that, what's your goal within that goal? And then once you know your goal, you know, okay, this is what I'm meant to be doing in this season. And so I share that to say this. 2-3 years back, I was really praying and seeking the Lord for breakthrough. And I saw it was like there were ice caps covering the land, like solid ice. You couldn't break that through that thing for love nor money. And like my little boat was cutting this tiny imperceptible channel through the ice. Like this little like ribbon kind of cut through the ice. But it was hard. And then I saw in this vision, like there was a time coming when the sun arose, the ice caps melted, and suddenly you had access to fish stocks like we'd never seen before. And I understood what God was saying. There's a kind of difference we can make through prayer and persistence that cuts through. And that's true. But there's a season that's coming when harvest, you know, like what's the job of the church? What's the goal of the church? It's to be fishers, not fishers of fish, but fishers of men. And there is going to be a shift in the spiritual atmosphere that's coming. When that happens, it's going to be easy to harvest. But we need to be ready for the season of harvest that is coming. Now, I'll be honest, I don't necessarily think right now we're in that sunshine season where the ice caps have melted, but I think we're heading towards that. And I think in the economy of God, He's going to use all the disasters that seem to be happening to soften and open up people's hearts to receive the good news of Jesus. That season of miraculous harvest could be very near. So what are we, the church, to do in this season? What does a farmer do in winter? What does a farmer do when the breakthrough's not come and the sun's not out and the ground is not soft? What does a farmer do? Farmer gets ready, prepares his tools. And I want to encourage you in this next season, prepare yourself. Prepare yourself, number one, to give an answer for the hope that you have. If a conversation about Jesus opens up, how would you steward that conversation? Prepare yourself. Read books like The Case for Faith by Lee Strobel. And then secondly, practice. Practice having conversations with people about Jesus, with your work colleagues, on the high street, wherever you go. Practice dropping Jesus into the conversation. You never know who's going to be ready to respond. Practice inviting people to church. Practice inviting them to small group. But more than all of those things, a disciple, which is what we're looking to win, is someone who follows Jesus and his way of love. So practice being love so they can follow you as you're following Jesus. In this next season, practice love at every opportunity. Be loving to the stranger. Be loving to your work colleague. Be loving to the lost ones you're looking to reach, that you would prepare their hearts with your acts of love for the season of harvest that's coming. God bless you guys. Let me pray for you. Father, I pray for every man, woman, and child that's listening to this broadcast, that God, you would enable all of us to prepare and practice for the season of harvest, to get ready spiritually, to get ready practically, to get ready in terms of what we're reading for the season of harvest that's coming. We bless you. You are so loved. Have an amazing week, an amazing year. You are so loved.